Today's video is brought to you by ablmerch.com. Grab your 1776 hats, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, and more through the link in the description box below. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Project Veritas exposing CNN. Now, there's this guy that may have been on a Tinder date. I'm not really sure what was going on, but he was having some kind of interaction with a young lady at a restaurant, and he began to spill the beans about the network, how they engage in propaganda, anti-conservative stuff, how they try to paint Joe Biden as this quote-unquote young geriatric to make him appear to be healthier than what he obviously is not. He spilled all the beans. Now, for time's sake, I'm going to get into this video that does not show the entire clip. If you want to see the full clip, I'll link to Project Veritas's full video in the description box. But you got to see this one piece right here to see how he acted during this particular confrontation after he was exposed on camera saying whatever he was saying about CNN. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We're outside this restaurant in Jersey City. We're about to confront Charlie Chester, CNN's technical director. CNN employee is inside the restaurant. We got him on camera. He's meeting with our undercover reporter. He expects that person to return to the table, but I'm going to be returning to the table in a minute. Let's go.
So now I think James O'Keefe is like the new, what was that show? Cheaters. So he's a new Cheaters guy, pretty much.
Charlie, is this seat taken? I'm James O'Keefe with Project Veritas. You're on camera. You're recorded. You're a technical director at CNN. You're on camera talking about the importance of getting Trump out of office without saying that's what your intent is.
This was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? Look what we did. We got Trump out. I am 100% going to say it, and I 100% believe it.
Now, let's pause right here. You see on the screen, their intention at CNN was to get Trump out, and he 100% believes it. So when those of us on the right talk about the media, how they're corrupt, and how they try to manipulate regular everyday normies into voting one way, believing one way, how they don't really report the news, they're propaganda networks. I don't want to hear anything else about, oh, you got on the tinfoil hat, you're not really living in reality. They're telling you what they're doing right there. Okay, you can see it on the network, how they show the news. It's pretty obvious. But then this man is a CNN employee, a technical director. He's telling you what they do. Now, if you want to listen or not, that's your own prerogative, but he's telling you what they do in really clear, plain, black and white terms.
You're on tape saying this.
Not interested in talking.
Well, we're investigative reporters doing a story, and I just want to ask you.
I've asked you now.
What
you're close to you, within 6 feet of me. Without your mask on.
What did you mean when you said that?
Oh, now you got to wear a mask, but when you're talking to the young lady, you didn't have a mask on, it was all good. But now all of a sudden, oh, you got to put your mask on. It's like, stop. You know what? And that's the whole mask thing. That tells you right there that this whole mask thing isn't even about the virus or nothing like that. It's a control method. He wants to control James O'Keefe to get him out of his face and stop the conversation. That's why he brings up the whole thing about masks. So that's something else right there you might want to keep an eye on. When they talk about wearing masks and stuff like that on the network, do they really believe that? I can't tell.
Without saying that's what our intent was. Why would you want to conceal from people? Are you going to call the police? Are you going to call the police on me? Go ahead, please do. Go ahead.
You're in my personal space. I don't want to.
Excuse me?
You're in my personal space.
I can stand 6 feet away from you and ask the same questions. That sounds like a good idea. So let me ask you this question. Why would you want to conceal from voters that CNN's intent was to help Biden?
You're not going to get me to talk about anything. So.
Well, you also said that
but it's already too late now because he'd already been on camera talking to the undercover person from Project Veritas, so it don't even really matter. You might as well just stop talking. I mean, if I was him, I would just stop and just go ahead and bounce. You know, because you can't really defend what you said. You said what you said on camera, and they got it.
In your words, quote, propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, like Trump, we did it. Like when Trump was, I don't know, like his hand was shaking or whatever. He brought in like so many medical people to like all tell a story that like it was all speculation.
And that's something else right there. But he was talking about if Trump's hand was shaking, They bring in quote unquote medical people to give their analysis. That's also a thing that they do all over the media, bringing these analysts and these people that purport themselves as experts, purport themselves as authorities, but they aren't really that. They just come in there to reinforce propaganda that CNN and other alphabet letter organizations give to the public.
He was like neurological damage, like that he was losing it. He's unfit to, whatever. We were creating story there that we didn't know anything about. So that's I think that's propaganda.
Yeah. So he says it right there. They were creating story, and he thinks that's propaganda. Exactly, 100%. And pardon me for being right here in the way of the captions. It's not my fault. We got to blame the white man, but I want to make sure that we're not violating any kind of what they say, Creative Commons or fair use things. But let's keep on going.
What was that about? You said you nonchalantly admit in your medical analysis of Trump that it was all speculation. And you used, these are your words, not mine.
And he calls you Imam, forgive me, his words, not mine.
I'm quoting you here. All right. Well, you've already spoken with us. You've already spoken with us quite a bit.
Side note, can I get a Project Veritas action leather jacket, please, James O'Keefe? Let me get one of them. I don't even wear it. I put it in my little curio cabinet. That'd be a nice collector's item, man. I like that. I don't know how you did that, how you got it custom made like that, but I'm going to need one of those immediately. Let's keep on going.
You admit your network is helping certain candidates for political office, and you're admitting that you're wanting to hide it. Why hide it, Charlie? Why hide it? They never have the courage to say publicly what they will say privately.
Correct.
That's courage
Always.
right there. That's
a typical liberal, especially online. They call you all types of names, all types of racial slurs and everything up under the sun when they're on the internet. When they have that shield of anonymity where they think nobody's watching, they'll say whatever they want. But then when it comes to them being out there in the front, having their face out there and being in front of a serious audience, they change their tune. That's kind of how that goes. Even sometimes when they're speaking at dinners and whatnot, they'll say things that they wouldn't say when they're out there in the public.
Courage. Yeah, drive away. You won't be able to drive away from the truth. How do you sleep at night? That was Charlie Chester, CNN's technical director, outside this restaurant in New Jersey. Charlie had nothing to say, certainly shocked. We had asked him about his comments. I focused specifically on this thing he said about trying to conceal it, quote, without saying that's what we were doing. He said the quiet part out loud.
He sure did.
No one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious.
We got him on tape. He drove away. I put my flag mic up. The door jammed the mic, and then he drove
Hilarious.
away. Didn't want to say anything to us, but listen. I think this is going to get a reaction from CNN. Stay tuned. What do you do for the pancake house here?
I'm a server. It's my first day.
Did you serve this man this morning?
I did.
You served. What was he like?
He was kind of rude. Yeah, and he was a little bit standoffish. I tried to get his order, and they were not feeling it. So.
You want to work at Project Veritas?
I do.
Well,
Here's my information.
We may have got a prospective employee at Project Veritas.
Project Veritas. Now, there's more that he said, and I'll link to everything in the box. But that was great. Shout out to Project Veritas. Sometimes they put out stuff. I'm like, all right, I need a little something more substantive to put, sink my teeth into. But that right there was fantastic. It reinforces what many of you all that are watching me already know about mainstream media. It's fake. It's phony. Even to a certain extent, Fox. I think Fox is good at times, but even sometimes they can fall victim to some of this, this kind of propaganda stuff that's on television, on most of the liberal media outlets. CNN is notorious for doing stuff like this. MS-13 DNC, they're notorious for it. Their on-air personalities are worse than some of these people that are out there in the street screeching about Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot, all this, that, and the third. All right? But as I close, I want to say this. If you were not awake, this should have awakened you. There should have been some smelling salts. It should have been a shot in the arm, an elbow to the head. It should have been a wake-up call like, hey, they're giving propaganda on the mainstream media networks, all right? They're talking about all these things dealing with Trump that's just not even really real, creating stories, attempting to get Trump out of office. And it should be kind of alarming because the mainstream media, social media, they have a lot of power, a lot of influence. And basically what they are is like they're lobbyists. They're unchecked. They do whatever they want to do. But it's up to us to not pay them any attention. When they put a story out from CNN or anywhere else like that, just automatically become skeptical, automatically think this might not be right. This might be incorrect, all right, because there's an ulterior motive. And what they're going to do next, I'm not sure if you said it right there or not. It might have been in the extended footage. They're going to focus on climate change next. So they're going to bring on Al Gore and Greta Thunberg. Al Gore back in the 90s was talking about the ozone layer and acid rain. What is it going to be now? Are they going to try to talk about racism and link that to climate change? I wouldn't doubt it. They already said that racism is a public health issue. And if you're out there, quote unquote, protesting for racial justice, then it's okay because that's a public health issue the same way the virus is. So it kind of cancels out. They're really saying that. And they have the so-called experts that go on places like CNN to say it. We all know that the mainstream media is totally fake. What you just saw right there reinforces what we already know. And if you didn't know, now you know. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about Project Veritas and this latest video exposing CNN? Was it a good one, bad one? Did you get anything from it? Did it reinforce what you already know? Did you learn something? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about these mainstream media networks and social media and whatnot that try to, they try to curate information, they try to obfuscate, they try to censor and things of that nature? All right. This is why, like I've said many times before, this is why underground media, alternative media is becoming more and more popular. You have cord cutting, of course, people not having cable television anymore. That's one thing. But also people are fed up with the lies, the misinformation, the disinformation, the propaganda, the slanted reporting, the lack of reporting. They're tired of it from the mainstream media, and they want to go to more reputable sources, more honest sources. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.